In the swordsmith village, Tanjiro, Genya, and Nezuko continue their battle against Hantengu, upper rank 4. The tiny demon turns to face Tanjiro, revealing the kanji for fear on his tongue. The young demon slayer brings his flaming sword down on Hantengu's neck, but it's not enough. He can't cut through. A new scent reaches Tanjiro's nose, nothing like the other 4 demons. Did he miss another one? Genya calls out, somehow recovering from his wounds, but Tanjiro doesn't have enough time to move. The new demon strikes a drum labeled with the kanji for hatred, and blows him away as 5 wooden dragons materialize. He tries to dodge their snake-like bodies. Right before one of the heads catches him in its jaws, Nezuko jumps in to save her brother. Back on the ground, the new demon addresses the slayers and pulls an Uno reverse, claiming that they're the villains. Tanjiro realizes that it's not a new demon. Genya agrees, still in shock after witnessing the angry demon absorb the other 3, before transforming into its final form. The new demon creates a protective barrier around the tiny Hantengu. When Tanjiro tells them to stop, the powerful aura it exudes is unlike anything the other 4 possess. The demon condemns them for trying to decapitate a small and weak being, reaffirming that they're the villains. But Tanjiro has no time to debate ethics. Morality is dumb. Eating hundreds of people is bad, and killing those who do so is good. The demon has debate brain and claims that if he didn't kill anybody directly related to him, then why should it matter? Because it does. Who cares if he didn't know the victims? The power of friendship extends far beyond the demon's understanding. Meanwhile, Muichiro continues to float helplessly inside the watery grave that Gyoko trapped him in. The demon heads to the shed while the hashira concedes his death. The poison must still be affecting him since Tanjiro appears, wondering why he thinks he's going to die. But Muichiro realizes that Tanjiro never said that. Then who did? Gyoko makes it in the door and cuts down Kanamori before noticing Haganazuka polishing his sword. The swordsmith is so wrapped up in his work that he doesn't even acknowledge Gyoko, which only infuriates the artist inside the demon. He's never been so enamored with his own work before. How dare he? Gyoko's singular focus at that moment shifts to breaking the obsessive swordsmith's concentration. Muichiro continues his conversation with the ghostly figure of Tanjiro, who tells him to hold out hope that someone will come to his rescue. The hashira refuses to believe him when Kotetsu returns with a kitchen knife and tries to save him. When a small goldfish sneaks up on the kid, Muichiro tries to warn him to no avail and gets stabbed in his vitals. Kotetsu defies Muichiro's assumption that he can't do anything to help when he puts his mouth on the prison and blows enough air for the hashira to use one of his mist-breathing techniques to break free. He finally remembers who said those words to him. Tanjiro reminded him of his father since they have the same red eyes. Despite being free, the poison has sapped all his strength. Luckily, the convoluted series of events has cured him of the crippling plague of amnesia, and all his memories come flooding back. One stormy night, his father went out searching for specific herbs to help his sick mother.
Unfortunately, he fell to his death before accomplishing his goal. Muichiro's mother perished the very same evening, leaving him with the most common comorbid affliction of an amnesiac, orphan.
He was only 10 when his parents died. The only family left was his twin brother Muichiro. Unlike him, his brother acted cold and heartless, having extreme pragmatic discourse disorder. One day Amane, the demon slayer core leader, Kayaga's wife, appears and tells Muichiro that he and his brother are descendants of a swordsman who used first breathing. But Muichiro dismisses it as nonsense and sends her away. Muichiro is more optimistic about becoming a demon slayer and helping people. This only set his brother off, and the two stopped speaking. On a summer evening, unable to sleep, Muichiro got up for a drink when a figure suddenly appeared at their door. They complain that it's only a couple of children before it goes to strike. Muichiro leaps in front of his brother only to have his arm severed. It turns out that this was the demon who said their lives were worthless. This throws Muichiro into an uncontrollable rage. His vision turns red. Blinded by fury, the boy dismembers and stakes the demon to the ground. He comes to as the sun comes up, killing the demon. He collapses from exhaustion as he crawls back to the house. He finds Muichiro on the brink of death, praying for his brother's safety, regretful of holding him back. It turns out that he knows what the Mu in Muichiro stands for, despite teasing his brother about it for years. It stands for infinity. Regaining his memories invigorates Muichiro. Clouds of mist appear on his cheeks as he uses his mist breathing to kill the goldfish demons and save Kotetsu. But the kid is more focused on Haganazuka and the sword. Gyoko is still fuming and almost gets slashed by Muichiro. On the flip side, he is so concentrated on breaking Haganazuka's concentration that he barely notices the hashira.
The demon is confused upon seeing the marks on his face. He thought it was the kid with earrings. No matter.
Gyoko destroys the entire shed with an octopus attack, which barely interrupts the swordsmith, much to his chagrin. Muichiro finally gets his new sword from Kanamori and thanks him for following his previous swordsmith's instructions to a T. The hashira rushes the upper rank, slicing through the tentacles, even getting a small slice on his neck. With his brother's words ringing in his ears, he draws on the infinite strength he always knew Muichiro was capable of. He continues to counter everything Gyoko throws at him, even getting in a few jabs about his pot, which provokes the demon to use even stronger blood demon arts. He launches a torrent of fish at the hashira, smugly thinking that even if he cuts them down, their blood will get him with its transdermal poison. That is until Muichiro clears the air of sashimi with a single blow. When he goes to decapitate Gyoko, he sheds his skin and reappears in a tree. Laughing, he proclaims that nobody has seen his true form and lived to talk about it. Unimpressed, Muichiro continues to poke fun at the upper rank, whose patience is long gone. He attacks the hashira. Everything he touches turns to fish. Muichiro remembers the unbridled rage he felt as a child, the same rage he carried with him during his training after Amane and her daughters found him still clutching the hand of his dead brother. The same rage that allowed him to push himself to the brink of death with one singular goal: to annihilate the demons. Gyoko continues to gloat as he attacks the hashira, but isn't prepared for his mist-breathing seventh form, obscuring clouds. Muichiro disappears into the clouds of mist, dodging the demon's fruitless attempts to pin him down. He wasn't the only one not taking the fight seriously. It's over instantaneously. The hashira strikes when the upper rank's confusion takes hold. His severed head falls to the ground as the demon grapples with what just happened as he tries to regenerate. Tired of his outbursts, Muichiro dices up what's left of him, silencing him forever. Kanamori rushes to check on the hashira, who suddenly doesn't look so hot. The poison finally takes effect, and he falls to the ground. Kotetsu pops up beside him, and it turns out that he is carrying around Rengoku's tsuba for his new sword, which protects him. Meanwhile, Tanjiro and Koen continue fighting the hatred demon. The demon slayer dodges the wooden dragons, figuring he can order them to extend about 66 feet. But he's caught off guard by another sonic blast. Turns out that each head can use one of the 4 demons' abilities. Tanjiro's eardrums burst, though he recovers enough to dodge another attack. The dragons conjure lightning after breaking one of his feet. It's like they have unlimited power.
Tanjiro gets about 66 feet away, but the dragon is half xenomorph, and smaller heads pop out, swallowing him whole before he can catch his breath. The others are tied up and unable to help. Luckily, Mitsuri the Love Hashira comes out of nowhere with the assist.
Tanjiro is in awe of Mitsuri's whip-like Nichirin sword and her incredible ability to wield it. She squares up with the hatred demon, easily cutting her way through the 5 wooden dragon heads. Making her way towards the demon, she prepares to decapitate it, when Tanjiro yells out a warning that it's not the main body. Beheading it won't kill it. Realizing her mistake, Mitsuri braces herself against the demon's compressed sound wave attack, which knocks off her clothes in the process. The demon is baffled that she survived and is all too excited about her abnormal constitution. Devouring her will be invigorating due to her strength. He goes to punch her brains out, only for Mitsuri to launch into a retelling of her backstory. At 17, all her marriage prospects dried up due to her unusual hair color. As a child, her mother would tell her about when she was still a toddler and her ability to lift a 33-pound pickling stone. She would also out-eat sumo wrestlers, even beating them at arm wrestling. Her muscle density was just that crazy. She literally wasn't like the other girls, which made her worry about being unmarriable. Though her parents were fine with her living at home, she dyed her hair and hid her unnatural strength. She ended up securing another marriage proposal, but had an existential crisis about pretending to be someone she's not. Tanjiro, Nezuko, and Genya all tackle Mitsuri, snapping her back to reality. They need her for her strength. She's their only hope. The hashira tears up as the hatred demon launches a giant lightning strike on the area. He's surprised to see her waving her sword in the air, which somehow protected them despite the laws of physics. When Mitsuri became a demon slayer, she finally got the recognition she craved. People actually praised her for her strength. Even so, she's been holding back this whole time, still afraid of not being accepted as a woman with her strength. No longer. The others need her. She's going all out. Mitsuri tells the others to find the main body while she keeps this one busy. The hatred demon is taken off guard by the hashira's sudden change. She's much faster than before, and a mark appears on her collarbone, which looks like what he calls a demon's crest. Meanwhile, Tanjiro and Kohar come across the twisted wooden ball protecting Hantengu, but when they go to attack it, the living branches try to escape. Luckily, Genya reveals that he can absorb strength and regenerative abilities from demons by consuming them, which explains his strange actions and appearance. Once the protective barrier is cut off from the rest, Nezuko lights it on fire with her blood demon art. Tanjiro uses sun breathing to cut it open, but Hantengu isn't inside. He's already on the run. The tiny demon laments that nobody ever shows him sympathy, even in life. Genya channels his inner Scotsman and uproots a tree before throwing it at the demon. Daybreak is fast approaching as the three of them give chase. If they don't defeat the demon before then, they'll just escape. While running, Tanjiro finally realizes that his foot's been broken this whole time and almost eats it. He remembers Zenitsu talking about how thunder breathing is all about the legs, focusing on them instead of your whole body. So, that's exactly what he does. It works, and he zips past the others, catching up to the demon. When he goes to decapitate Hantengu, the demon turns around whining about sympathy and picking on the weak before he transforms to where he towers over the young slayer, gripping and squeezing Tanjiro's head. Genya catches up and calls him out on his bullshit. Nezuko comes in with the assist and lights him on fire. They successfully free Tanjiro, but the flames spread to Genya due to his less-than-stellar diet. Nezuko and her brother struggle with the demon, which causes them to fall off a small cliff. They end up ripping his arms off in the process, and they complain that Zohakuten, the hatred demon, is sapping too much of his power, since they don't immediately regenerate. So, Hantengu stumbles off, sensing humans nearby for him to consume. But Tanjiro isn't down and out. He'll decapitate him if it's the last thing he does. The demon freaks out and starts running towards three swordsmiths trying to hide. Tanjiro gets ready to pursue when he hears someone yelling his name. Then a sword comes out of nowhere, almost hitting him. It's Muichiro coming in clutch with the ancient Sengoku blade. It's imbued with the power of friendship. Everyone's counting on him to destroy the upper rank. Haganazuko still isn't done polishing the sword, however, and he threatens the hashira before he passes out again. Tanjiro uses sun breathing to catch up to the demon. He winds up and swings the blade. It connects with the demon's neck, slowly inching its way through Hantengu's throat. He did it. The blade cuts clean through, and the demon's head falls to the ground. There's no time to celebrate. The sun begins to rise, and he turns his attention back to his sister. He can barely move, let alone call out. Instead of running to find shade, Nezuko rushes to meet him, trying to motion for Tanjiro to look behind him. When he does, he realizes the kanji on the demon's tongue says resentment instead of fear. He must have missed something. When he goes to save the smiths, the sunlight hits Nezuko, setting her ablaze. Tanjiro frantically searches the cliff face, but the others are too far away. He can't just leave her. Everything he's done up until this point has been to find a cure. It would all be for nothing if he let her perish in the morning light. The young demon slayer is paralyzed. The resentment demon won't burn up before it kills the smiths. He can't decide, so Nezuko makes one for him. She launches her brother in the demon's direction. With newfound resolve, Tanjiro uses his sense of smell to isolate the fear demon's location. He's hiding inside the other's heart. He won't get away this time. This time, he'll behead him for sure. When the demon slayer catches up, he slices through their body to reveal Hantengu's tiny body. Enraged, Tanjiro's sword ignites in flames as it connects with the fear demon's throat. Hantengu is flooded by his memories of being a human. It turns out that he was wanted for murder and sentenced to death for his crimes. But before he was executed, Muzan found and turned him. The ancient blade and Tanjiro's unabashed rage are enough to sever the head from the main body. The young demon slayer collapses. They won, but at what cost? The sheer trauma he's put his own body through. The sacrifice just to... Wait, no. Nezuko is just fine. She can survive during the daytime now, yippee. Oh, and she can talk now too. Tanjiro breaks down and hugs his seemingly oblivious sister before going limp. Meanwhile, Mitsuri apologizes for failing the others as a wooden dragon swallows her. Luckily, it's at the exact same time as Tanjiro beheading Hantengu, so the demon turns to ash and she's perfectly okay. Elsewhere, Muzan realizes that his search for the blue spider lily is over. The chosen demon has finally appeared after 1,000 years. This revelation floods him with memories of his backstory. As a human, Muzan had a rare and fatal disease. He was jealous of people who could lead a normal life and was fed up with his doctor since the symptoms only worsened. One day he killed the man, treating him only to realize the treatment was working. It gave him unbelievable strength at the detriment of living in complete darkness, for he could no longer venture into the sunlight. He analyzed the medicine and found that the ingredient he could no longer procure was that of the blue spider lily. He had killed the only man who knew where it grew. For the past 1,000 years, he scoured the countryside only to come up empty-handed. But his search ends today. The girl has conquered the sun. All he has to do is get to her and absorb the miraculous ability for himself. In the village, everyone celebrates the victory and wonders what's up with Nezuko, but they all shrug it off like it's not an earth-shattering revelation. The swordsmiths begin rebuilding the village, and after a few days, Tanjiro and Nezuko say their final goodbyes before setting off for the Demon Slayer Corps. The swordsmiths see them off, thanking them for their heroics. Thank you guys for sticking till the end of this video. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the like button for more videos like this. Cheers!